can't tell if the chemistry's good by looking at it. It wasn't clear yesterday. For the last time, the saltwater pool is a chlorine pool.
This is the Talking Pools podcast with pool pros from every region in the country. If it happens in a pool, you'll hear about it here. Everything from tips and hacks to the latest tricks and trends. Breaking news, we lay it on the line. We tell it like it is because we think you deserve to know.
Do you think that education gap is because there isn't enough education available to them, or because it's too overwhelming and they don't know where to start?
You know, that's a great question.
I used to think it was the former. And that's one of the main reasons I went to Watershape. I was trying to show them a path to mastery. You know, let's change this turnover issue where people get discouraged and they leave the industry after one summer. But really the turnover is at the cleaning level, right? It's at the entry level. It's not like once you start learning how to repair heaters, you're unlikely to leave the industry. You might go to another company, but you're probably going to stay in the industry because you have a skill now that's like translatable and allows you to have mobility. But pool cleaners, that's like the grassroots, right? And that's where the most turnover is. And so if they leave, you still have service managers and company owners who are struggling to fill that spot and get those pools serviced because they'll turn green if you don't. So I'll ask the question again. Do you think that the education gap, which I agree, very much real, is it because of a lack of education options or because there's so much information, they're overwhelmed?
That's a great question.
Yeah, you didn't expect me to ask you questions, huh?
And actually, I've always gone with the latter, but thinking about it, now that you've put me on the spot, it might be that it's too overwhelming.
You know what time it is? Wednesday vibes on the Talking Pools podcast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sun up, tools out, route rolling fine, but I'm tuning in, yeah, Natalie's on the line. Guess at the ready, stories that shine, from filters to heaters, they tell it in time. Hey, Wednesday, Natalie lead the way, Talking Pools, just make the week feel irate. Hey, Wednesday, knowledge start to play, Natalie and the crew keep the blue water happy. Chem talk, pump talk, tricks of the trade, field hacks, flashbacks, our legends are made. Laughs in the mix with the facts she lays. Every single segment got that reggae sway. Hey, Wednesday, Natalie lead the way. Talking Pools, protests make the week feel irate. Hey, Wednesday, knowledge start to play. Natalie and the crew keep the blue water happy. Who run the midweek? Natalie. Who bring the deep speak? Natalie. Clear up the green streak? Natalie. Talking Pools, turn it up, reality. So roll that rope and ride the tune. Wednesday waves be coming soon. Natalie, take the mic, boom. Talking Pools, we're in the groove soon. Hey, Wednesday, Natalie lead the way. Talking Pools, just make the week feel irate. Hey, Wednesday, knowledge start to play. Natalie and the crew keep the blue water happy. Hey, Wednesday, Natalie lead the way. Talking Pools, just make the week feel irate. Hey, Wednesday, knowledge start to play. Natalie and the crew keep the blue water happy.
The future of our industry is shaped by those willing to invest in it. The following companies have stepped forward to support education, leadership, and mentorship across the swimming pool industry. These are the sponsors of the 2026 Talking Pools Podcast Mentor Award. Title sponsor, Blu-ray, XL. Title sponsor, United Chemical. Gold sponsor, Lamont Chemical. Silver sponsor, Revved Up Apparel. Supporting sponsor, Aqua Comfort Water Group. Thank you for helping us recognize and celebrate the mentors who continue to shape the future of the swimming pool industry, and God bless the pool pro.
Hey, Pool Pros, tired of roasting under the sun and gear that doesn't hold up? Revved Up Apparel has your back with SPF protected apparel made for the Pool Pro. Want to stand out from the competition? Done. No minimum orders, no inventory stress. We handle the design, posting, printing, and fulfillment, so you can focus on the grind. Whether you're a single puller or managing a whole fleet, we handle the design, posting, printing, and fulfillment, so you can focus on the grind. Whether you're a single puller or managing a whole fleet, this is how you gear up smart and stay sharp. Check out revvedupapparel.com. Built for the...
Hey Pool Pro, what if your pool pump knew the perfect speed to run? Meet Nautis VSF, the first adaptive flow pump with EcoFlow technology. It adjusts to real-time conditions to maintain constant flow, cut energy costs, and extend equipment life. No guesswork, just a smarter pool with Nautis VSF from H2 Flow.
Welcome back to Mythbusting Wednesdays with Natalie Hood and the exciting conclusion to her two-part episode with industry phenom Erik Knight. Why did Erik leave Watershapes? Why did Erik join Pool Brain? Listen as Erik and Natalie quell the rumors and spill the coffee. We join this conversation in progress.
So I'll ask the question again. Do you think that the education gap, which I agree, very much real, is it because of a lack of education options or because there's so much information, they're overwhelmed?
That's a great question.
Yeah, you didn't expect me to ask you questions, huh?
And actually, I've always gone with the latter, but thinking about it, now that you've put me on the spot, it might be that it's too overwhelming.
Yeah, I think so too. And Pool Brain wants to change that. Adam wants to change that. So basically, in onboarding, traditional onboarding at any company, and I've now been to a few, and I've seen hundreds of them. Like I've met hundreds and hundreds of pool companies around the country. It's been wonderful. Everybody kind of onboards a very similar way in a pool service business, from what I could tell. I mean, what they're teaching generally is the same. How they do it is different, but how to use a test kit. This is what we put in the trucks. This is what these chemicals are. Here's how to not blow yourself up. Like those important things. Yeah. But then basically you get in the passenger seat of somebody who's been doing it for a while and you shadow them for a few days and you're on your own, right? So traditional onboarding is educate, demonstrate, and get out there and start learning. What this opportunity allows for is, what if you could shortcut that part, but without as much education up front, so that you can deliver an outsized result by following a guided workflow that does know what it's doing based on the data, based on the test results. You don't have to understand why it's doing it yet, but the education lags behind that. The education follows that and it reinforces it over time so that you're not stuck like not being able to handle the pool chemistry for a while because there's so much to learn.
Right.
What if you were delivering great water up front and learning pool chemistry over time? And as you learn the concepts, you're like, oh, that makes sense. That's why I'm adding sodium bicarb or whatever. If I were learning that way, I put myself in this shoes. I've done a lot of thinking about this before I decided to come to Pool Brain. Mm-hmm. That would work really well for me if I'm a pool prep tech.
Yeah. That would actually, I have to admit, I had a really hard time learning when I was younger. And it took me to learn how to learn, if that makes sense. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I had okay grades in high school. I think I had like a 3.3, which isn't bad. And then by the time I got to college, I did graduate with a 4.0, but it took me to learn how to learn. And I actually learned better hands-on. I'm visual, I'm hands-on. So the type of learning experience that you're describing would actually better suit me than doing all the learning up front. So I learned more after my degree now than, I learned a lot during my degree, but I've learned more now hands-on than I did before.
Most people are dominant visual learners in school. But when it comes to a long-term skill that you never forget, it's kinesthetic. You have to touch. You have to do. Yeah. And that's what this is. So you're kind of leading with kinesthetic, and then you're visually watching videos or reading after, or listening to a stupid podcast like mine or a great podcast like yours. And you're just backing it in. And that way you kind of backfill. And I'm not saying anything that isn't already out today. Everything that I've mentioned so far, Pool Brain already does. They did this before they hired me. So, and that, by the way, that's one of the biggest differences that has been a challenge for me is with Arenda's calculator, I built it from a blank screen So I know every part of it. Pool Brain is like 50 times more complex than that. And I didn't build it. So like I'm looking at this huge program. I'm like, oh man, I don't know how any of this works. And I've just been slowly absorbing kind of the logic, and it's deep. It is an amazingly smart software, but it's continuing to get better.
I'm excited. I think this is, well, kind of going back, we're going to jump around a little bit. I think this could also really help with possibly the technician turnover that a lot of companies experience.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I'm doing this. That's one of the main reasons I went to Watershape is the turnover problem is huge because the customers that I know, they constantly cite the biggest problem is personnel. I'm basically turned that on its head when he was talking to me. He said, what if you can't solve the turnover problem? You still have company owners and service managers who are struggling to get those pools cleaned in time. They're left high and dry. Like you still have this problem. How do you get the new technicians moving quickly, get them some early wins? And that was very appealing to me. It really was. Yeah.
So I have to get into chemistry, obviously, because you weren't going to take a job where you couldn't talk about water chemistry. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. I would be farming if I wasn't in the pool business. That has nothing to do with water chemistry.
I feel that, actually. I feel that. I'm ready for a barndominium with all the animals.
There you go.
Yes, I'm ready.
But yes, in the industry, you're right. I'm probably going to be.
But how excited are you about the automated chemistry side of what Pool Brain is developing?
I'll be honest, I still don't understand all of it. It's a pretty deep system. I've been onboarded like the AI dosing for tabs. I haven't even started looking at that, but it was really cool that they are leaning into LSI because as much as we think we made an impact at Orenda, most people, they know what the LSI is, but they don't really know how to implement it. Here again, where do you aim? What's your strategy? And Pool Brain is already doing is it allows a bunch of logic, and anybody who has Pool Brain already knows this. And again, pre-existing to me, my job is to make that easier. My job is to make that more robust, more predictable, and utilize things like the pH ceiling, which another term for that is future pH, which dictates your future LSI so that you have a good idea of what your chemistry is going to be when you come back. Now, I've been teaching this for years, but it's never been systematized, so to speak. You have to have that intuition to think on every single time you test that water. And technicians who have not been doing this a long time, that's hard to do. And it's not an intelligence thing. It's an experience thing. Until you have done enough pools and you see how pools behave with certain things, you can't really predict water very well. But if a system is on your team and a system knows the data on the pool and it knows the history of the chemistry readings, it's pretty smart. Yeah. And it's going to help you out.
Yeah. So then I have to ask, are you secretly trying to make it impossible for anyone to misuse the LSI ever again?
Oh yeah, that's my big grand plan. I don't want anybody to ever not use LSI. No, I've been an advocate for a long time, very vocal advocate that I believe pool service companies need to be on software. And we integrated with all the softwares when I was at Orenda for that same reason. Not because we never got a penny from any of the software companies. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with looking ahead. This job is going to get more complicated. Tap water's changing. There's just too many variables. But most importantly, every company I've ever worked for, want you to be successful, because knowing how to service pools and knowing how to service pools profitably are two very different things. Yeah. We want you to know how to service pools really well, but we also want you to be able to do it profitably and feed your families and be able to sleep at night without having to work exhausting days and get burned out. Yeah. Software allows you to do that. And it wasn't that Adam hates me for this, but it wasn't that Pool Brain was my favorite software. I like software in general, but the vision Adam gave me was right up my alley. I said, "Ooh, no one's ever done this." And I can't tell you what that is, but you'll see it over the next, 18 months, 2 years. No one's ever even tried as far as I know. Now, unless there's another company doing it without my knowledge and they beat us to it, it might happen, but I'm still going to do it because I think it's going to be really good for the industry.
Yeah. And again, and even if someone out there is already trying to develop or they're developing it behind the closed doors, again, it comes back to something that you and I have always talked about, and that competition is healthy.
It is. And look how much better the softwares have all gotten because of it. Yes. When there was just one, they had no incentive to get better. But look, Watershape makes all the other education groups step up their game. That's good. And all the other education groups make Watershape step up their game. That's what competition does. Amen. Capitalism does that.
Yeah. Stop sitting there and letting the education sit for years and years without
Yeah.
it.
And there's no reason to disparage any competition. Just be better or be better.
Yeah.
Like, get better. And that is a win for the consumers. The more competition, the better. That's a really good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all about it. And I don't know about you. I love competing. I absolutely love competition and I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got all your medals in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. My little girls, they know I'm doing these 3 races coming up. They're like, Mommy, we want you to win. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. But there's 10 Olympic trial swimmers in one of the races that I'm doing. And I'm like, Mommy's not going to win, but she's going to have fun watching the other 10 Olympic swimmers go in front of her.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't mean they're going to win unless they've been doing open water, because that's a very different skill set.
That is true. Yes,
Yeah.
That is true.
I mean, I do swim across America every year and teenagers beat me consistently. And it doesn't mean I don't know how to swim. It's that I don't swim much anymore. And I don't swim open water. Open water is so different than swimming in a pool. But let's get back to the subject. We don't want to waste the listeners' time with swimming talk,
Yes. Yeah. We could do that all day.
Yeah.
So with this audience listening, and I've seen it out on social media, they hear automation, they think, in guided workflows and point of need education, they immediately think, okay, well, great. Now nobody is actually going to learn anything. But, with better technology, I don't think it reduces the need for education. I think it just allows us to deliver better education. But again, I still see a lot of people and they see all this advancement with technology and they get extremely nervous. You're trying to do all this technology and replace the boots on the ground. And I think they're just kind of missing the point.
Where's your question in there?
Well, I'm saying with people saying, well, now that we're doing all of this, you're adding, my brain is not braining. I've not had enough protein today, obviously.
Well, you swam 10 miles. What did you expect? There's nothing left. Yeah.
That's true. So I guess my question is, does better technology reduce the need for education, or does it actually allow us to deliver better education? And I guess what will always require human knowledge and judgment to no matter how good the software becomes.
That's a deep question.
It was there. I just had to.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's a good question. I'll start by saying this. For repeatable commodity tasks, for instance, automation is going to replace a lot of those.
Yeah.
AI is replacing knowledge workers at a pace that has never before been done ever. And because, for instance, a paralegal or a team of paralegals at a big law firm has to look through hundreds and hundreds of pages of case law and hundreds of court documents and all that stuff. AI can do that in fractions of a second and synthesize it better than they could anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a very replaceable skill for AI. But here again, doing a filter sand change or cleaning a DE grid is not an AI replaceable task, at least not until they have robots physically doing the work. And that's not a priority for the AI overlords, right? I don't think it replaces the need for education. I think it simplifies I'm going to call it the menial stuff, like the entry level stuff, to a point where you can learn it very quickly and then automation does it for you. What it does allow for you to do is learn deeper on the bigger concepts. So instead of just struggling to figure out how to keep your pools from turning green all the time, which is, that's a cleaning level job. And that, you have to understand basic chemistry and stuff. You can start predicting what your chemistry is going to do. That's a very different level of water understanding. And, I've been teaching it for years, but like, if you just let physics be your teammate instead of your opponent, water becomes very predictable. It doesn't have to be chaotic. And, I think technology, what it does, in my opinion, is a force multiplier, just like a tractor is to a landowner or farmer. One tractor can replace 30 or 40 people. And you're going to have these things going. For instance, if for some reason you are trying on an outdoor residential pool to maintain a pH between 7.4 and 7.6, even if it's a stabilized pool, if that's what you're trying to do, unless you're visiting it 3 times a day or more every day, you alone can't do that without automation.
Correct.
But automation can do it. So why not use it?
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree.
How about robotic cleaners? How many pool pros listening to this, and I know there are a lot of you, how many pool pros listening to this genuinely like vacuuming pools? I've never met one.
Definitely not me.
Never. Like, God, I got to vacuum this. This is such a pain. Look at all the leaves on the bottom. There was a rainstorm or whatever. I mean, the grumbles are real. And trust me, I had that pool. If you followed the Arenda channel and the podcast, I was cleaning leaves out of it every single day. The chemistry, I didn't have really a problem with the chemistry at all. Chemistry was easy for me. Cleaning the leaves was such a pain. I hated it. I mean, I just dreaded every single day netting and having to vacuum. And
my shoulders always were like burning by the end of it.
But guess what? There's automated pool cleaners. There's in-floor cleaning systems. Those are automated, right? Those things make your job easier so you can focus on higher levels of skill. Here again, like troubleshooting equipment and adding exceptional value to your customers. And by the way, automation equipment is a great profit center for a pool service business. If you are putting automation on a pool or installing a new controller, or you can automate valves now, you can change from spa mode to pool mode. And it's amazing what technology is doing. And by the way, it's not slowing down. No. So you're going to want to know what this stuff is, because it unlocks your ability to service those higher end pools, which yield higher monthly rates. And it can transform your business, really.
Well, you know what just had me thinking, I would say in other areas, in different industries, I would say automation has been much quicker, right? I'm wondering if the pool industry is just feeling threatened that all of a sudden all this automation has just come full swing.
We're just small. I don't think we're that far behind. I think my uncle... Well, my uncle was an investment banker, and he told me this many years ago when he looked at our industry. He said, your industry is in its adolescence. When you look at HVAC and plumbing and all this stuff, they're basically like 10, 15 years ahead of us because there's so many more of them, and private equity came in, the consolidations happened, the technology, the software, all that stuff is way ahead of us. But we're a very similar trajectory. We're just a decade behind, so to speak. But the technology is caught up because in the last 3 or 4 years, I mean, there's some very smart people getting into this space. Yes. But where the bleeding edge of technology is, it's not in a small industry that doesn't have the dollars. You're going to see it in the energy sector. You're going to see it in the healthcare sector. You're going to see it in the hundreds of billions and $1 trillion type industries, automotives, things like that. They're going to always be way ahead. And then it trickles down to the smaller industries like ours. And by the way, that's not an insult to the industry. I love it. Yeah. This is a great industry to be in. There's a lot of prosperity in this industry. Savor this, because we don't want it to become a huge industry. We want it to grow, but we want it to be this leisure industry that we're in. Pool people don't leave the industry very often. And I'm speaking now on behalf of like manufacturers, especially the people that exhibit at trade shows. Most people stay in the industry for one main reason that I've found in talking to a lot of them. This is a fun business.
Yeah.
Like we bring joy to people. Pools are fun, and the service providers that go into backyards are keeping water clean. People like looking and swimming in clean water. I mean, it's a fun business. Everyone associates the backyard pool with joy and recreation. Yeah. That's cool. And not a lot of businesses are like that. I mean, think about the mining industry. Think about waste management. Think about these huge industries that they're not fun. So you get to go to the pool show and you get to see all this cool new stuff. You realize we get to see a lot of new stuff because we are a small industry. It hasn't all been discovered yet. And so I'm enjoying it. I really am. And I hope you are too, pros, and come to the shows and see what people are rolling out, because especially with AI, it is freeing up some of the best minds in this industry to think of things that they never had the time to think of before.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree. And I love this industry too. People will ask my husband, what's your wife do? And he actually has like a notepad on his phone. He's like, give me a second. He's like, I don't know. She works in the pool industry. And he's like, and it's a thing. But I agree. I love the pool industry. You couldn't kick me out. I live and breathe aquatics, obviously, with how much swimming I'm doing. But so let's have a little fun. The one before this announcement, so obviously it was hard about keeping it quiet, but who was the first person that you told?
My wife.
Obviously.
Well, no, that's not even fair, because she was involved in the decision to do this. So I'm a very transparent person. I'm a pretty private person too, but I didn't hide anything from anyone that needed to know. So before I even accepted the position, we had open conversations with Bill and Dave at Watershape. Like nothing was, hey, by the way, I'm leaving. No, it was, we really talked it through of how this could work. So early on, the people that knew, I mean, Bill and Dave were aware basically day one. Obviously, Adam, my wife. And in terms of people outside of the know that we told, I'm not going to say who they are, but I've got a select ring of very close customer friends that we've got some text groups. I've told some of them, but generally, I try not to tell really anybody that didn't need to know. I told some of the Woo instructors because I wanted them to know ahead of time so they weren't caught off guard. But no, it wasn't. It was never really like clandestine. I wasn't really held feet to the fire. Are you leaving? No, I never got to that point. And it's not that big of a deal. It's just me. Who cares? Like, people change jobs all the time.
Yeah, I agree. Life changes, things happen. So, well, and one thing I thought was pretty cool is that, in the announcement, WU, they said they were looking forward to expanding, access to quality education. And so, it looks like there's possibly some exciting opportunities. Obviously, you can't talk about it just yet, but it looks like there's going to be some opportunities with WU working with PoolBrain.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, high quality education and access to it is one of the exciting things that PoolBrain could do, even in the short term. But the bigger picture is something different than that. But yeah, I think pros deserve to have access to the best information they could get.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So how many new ideas have you already thrown at PoolBrain?
Not so many. The reason for that is I'm not trying to upset the apple cart because I still don't even understand 50% of what they have. I'm still in sponge mode, learning. The only ideas, little corrections I've made, there was like a typo on one of the pages, very small stuff like that. I've found a few things that I've made note of. I have a book where I write down everything so I don't forget it. And I think I'm on 7 pages in several weeks. So that's not a lot of notes, by the way. It's just things that I've picked up on. So honestly, it's a really well-developed software and it's a very mature software at this point. So because I don't know what's behind it, I don't feel that I have any sort of standing to start trying to change things until I really understand how it works and also how it's used. I'm now that this is out in the open, I'm going to speak to customers who are using it and get their honest feedback as well.
Love it. I absolutely agree. So what's more dangerous, Erik Knight with a chemistry calculator or Erik Knight with access to a software development team?
Well, I have access to a chemistry calculator. That's not dangerous at all. I mean, I think that the better question is a software development team and resources to actually employ it, because software is very expensive to develop. So if you don't have the resources to back it, well, you can have all the ideas in the world. And it's kind of funny how AI has really shaped things just in this short amount of time since, just the last few weeks. There have been like 5 different AI generated website startup, app software companies in the pool business that reached out to the Rule Your Pool podcast and reached out to me at Watershape trying to get featured on the show or whatever else and just introducing their software. But there's really not anything behind it except it was clearly AI generated very, very rapidly. And you haven't heard of them yet for a reason. So until you have the backing, I mean, there's personnel required if you're going to serve this industry. There's an entire customer support team. There's a development team. There's a lot of payroll to operate one of these businesses. It's a lot more than what we did at Arenda. We did not have nearly as much payroll requirement because we had third-party reps, just like the Grit game. Had we had distributions. We had local reps like that. And then we had relationships with customers. So it was mostly a sales organization. This is a service organization. It's a fundamentally different business.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you. It's always fun to do something different, right? And it sounds like you're going to have some fun.
Yeah, I do have fun. And I've made no bones about challenging the status quo. And I think it does need to be challenged. I have some serious problems with some of the way that things have been done in the industry. And it's not problems with any individual people. I see a clear picture of things that are hurting pool pros and what can make their jobs easier and better and their water safer and more enjoyable for their customers. And I want that. So yeah, when you break eggs to make an omelet, some people really preferred the eggs. There's been some mixed reviews about this. I don't care. What other people think of me is none of my concern, but I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I think it's good for the pros, and that's really what motivates me. So I've gotten to know so many of them. I consider a lot of them very good friends, and they open up to me and tell me what's frustrating them and what's hard about what they're doing. And I'm thinking, it doesn't have to be this way. There's so much prosperity in this industry if we get out of our own way, simplify what we're doing, and focus on what matters. And that's what I want to help do. And Pool Brain aligns perfectly with that.
I agree. Well, my last question is, what do you think pool pros should be paying attention to right now? What should they be paying attention to in the industry, let's say, in regards to being successful and running their routes? I know. I keep giving you like these deep end questions.
No, it's good. I mean, I appreciate that. It's better than surface level talk. The first thing that comes to mind is inflation. Inflation is out of our control. Inflation is the best way to explain inflation is when the government prints more money than the goods and services produced. So if there's more cash circulating in the economy than the goods and services that created that cash, you have a gap, and that gap is called inflation. And so the value of the dollar decreases. Therefore, it costs a lot more of those decreased dollars to get the same stuff. And I made this comment that when I first got to Orenda, I could fly across the country to a trade show or whatever for under $500 consistently. I can't get there for under $800, and that's like lucky if I get it in the 800s. Yeah. It's usually $1,000 or more to get to California. That's more than doubled. That's real. And that's at a big level of a flight. But how much are you paying now for your chemicals? How much are you paying now for your equipment, for your fittings, for your brushes, for your poles, for all the things that are essential to your business? Lord forbid, having to buy a new truck. I mean, when I got my truck in 2018, it was, I think, $38,000. That same truck, that model, like today's model, is $62,000. I mean, think about that. Ford F-150.
Okay.
But like a basic one. It's not like a super tricked out one or anything. It's like, mid-level. And that's a $60-something thousand truck now. And it's no different. I mean, it's updated, of course, but it's not really any different than the truck that I had just 8 years ago. And that makes you think like you have to get more life out of the equipment you're using. You have to get more bang for your buck, so to speak. And so I think the main thing that pool companies need to be focused on is how can you stretch your dollars and be more efficient with what you're doing and be more profitable with what you're doing. Optimizing your route is a great way to do it. Gas is expensive. Less wear and tear on the vehicle. And then having the right stuff in your truck, predicting where your chemistry is going so that you don't have to route and go back to your shop or go to distribution in the middle of the day, which takes time and gas and everything else.
Yeah.
And then get back on route. If you knew, hey, I've got these 10 pools to hit today, and you knew exactly where their chemistry is supposed to be within some very precise tolerance, barring some major weather event, you could have everything on your truck that morning and you don't need to stop. You can you could be home by 4. You can be with your family and all that stuff. And I want that for you. And it can be done. And you need tools to do that. And that's what I want to build.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. And I appreciate you so much coming on and talking with us. And all of us here at the Talking Pools podcast, we appreciate you, and we are very excited for you in your next chapter at Pool Brain. And, I think this career move is exciting. And again, I'm happy to see the relationship with Watershape is still on very good terms, and it's remained strong because ultimately, all of these organizations, we're all working towards the same thing, right? Helping pool professionals become better, because at the end of the day, that's what we do.
Yeah. Well, I can guarantee you not all hosts at the Talking Pools podcast really like me. I get along well with Rudy. I get along well with you, but there are some hosts that really can't stand me, and I'm okay with that because I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But in all seriousness, it's nice to be on the show and to reach out because we share the same audience. And when I do talk to Rudy, we are on the same page. Though we have disagreed on some chemistry things, we've talked quite a bit in the last year. We are absolutely aligned in trying to make things better for pros. There is no gap there. And I'm really happy that this show is growing like it is. And I'm happy to be part of it. And for the pros listening, I'm happy to still be in this industry and serve you. And I hope to see you out there.
Yes. Well, thank you for being on again. And thanks, guys, for tuning in. Continue to challenge those myths and educate yourselves. Until next time, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you for listening today. I'm hoping you enjoyed the episode as much as we enjoyed putting it together for you. Listen, it's been a couple of wacky, crazy, screwed up years from pandemic to Poolmageddon. I just want you to know that we are all in this together. If there's anything that we can do for you, send me an email at talkingpools@gmail.com. Again, that's talkingpools@gmail.com. We're here. This is your podcast. We are the Pool People's podcast, of the pool people, for the pool people, by the Pool People's podcast. This one is about you. So thank you for tuning in and listening. Do me a favor, click subscribe before you go. That way you don't miss an episode.